I hope everyone can see that. Okay, good. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Ahmed, for organizing this lovely do and this lovely food. If people haven't eaten, please do before we eat all of it. So I'm going to start a timer because I have a tendency to keep on talking till people tell me to shut up. So it'll be right here to tell me what to do. Anyway, good evening. My name is Robbin. As the name suggested, I am a father to this lovely girl called Amelia. As you can see there, she was born, and this is she now, as in yesterday. She's only smiling because I told her to smile, otherwise no lollipop, so that's why she's smiling. So, I come from India, and if people say I have cancer, I know that I have cancer, and it's very important. If people say I have TB, that's important. But if people say thalassemia, I don't know. I don't know what thalassemia is. What is that? I thought people were calling me names when I came here for the first time. And I had no idea that I had thalassemia. So when I met my wife, that time girlfriend, going strong 13 years, I think I calculated that right last time. Otherwise, no dinner tonight. When I met my wife, who is Greek, she told me that she's got sickle thalassemia. I had no idea what that was. I said, is it cancer? No, it's not cancer. Okay. Is it TB? No, it's not TB. You need to get tested. So then she told me, why don't you go and get a test done? So I said, I'm Indian. I'm okay. I'm running around, slightly overweight, pretty bald, but I'm okay. No. You need to get a test done. So I got a test done, and it turned out that I'm thalassemia minor. That explained why I was a little bit tired from time to time. Not too tired, but a little bit tired. But then I came to know that I do have thalassemia minor, and that someone in my family might have thalassemia minor, which could be my mom, could be my dad, anybody. And I was a bit worried, what is this going on about? So I started talking about it, and then I came to know that if we need to have kids once we are married, I need to go to a genetic counselor. Now, this genetic counselor made us sit down in the office, and she told exactly what Tian told you about half and half. If you have thal minor, if somebody else has sickle cell, it has to be that your kid will have something. When I say something, it could be thal minor like me, it could be like my wife who's got sickle thalassemia, or it could be thalassemia major. Now that little girl there has got thalassemia major, which means it'll just be like Eugenia, where she will need transfusions. And we were told that the choice is yours. You're always given a choice, unfortunately, in life, whether it's yes or a no. So the choice was ours to say, okay, do you want to go ahead with the pregnancy, yes or no? Yes, if you want to go ahead with the pregnancy, we need to make a test, or we need to perform a test. So we were given a test called CVS. If you ask me what CVS stands for, at the moment I'm totally confused because it's got different terms. But what that basically means is when your wife is pregnant, at a certain stage in a pregnancy, they will insert a needle into her tummy, and they will take a little bit of the amniotic fluid, and then they will tell us what the kid will have. Thal minor, thal major, 2 heads, 3 legs, whatever it is will come out in that test. So I said, isn't it a bit intrusive? And they said, it's up to you, because now is the time to say no to it. So it was a difficult time for us, because saying no to a kid or saying no to a baby is kind of a bit difficult. I'm not saying it from a religious point of view, but kind of we all felt, me and my wife felt a bit, touchy-feely about it. So, but anyway, we went through the test, and we found out that the kid was thalassemia major. But, going through the whole test was pretty heavy on all of us. So it was good because the hospital was awesome. Some of the staff at the hospital, some of the social workers who are in the crowd with us today, they all held our hands, and I said, no, it's okay, don't worry about it. Get the test done, see where you stand, and then you make a choice. It's easier said than done. You can never make the choice to say no. So my wife immediately said, no, that's it. Test done, baby coming out. I said, yeah, okay, that's fine. But what are the other effects of it? So it took a lot of debate in between us to say what is going to happen in our lives, and we were a bit confused what to do. But then the hospital felt safe. It felt like a good family, another family which we will be seeing for the rest of our lives. So what do you want to do about it? So we sat down and we discussed about it, and eventually 5 years ago, because my kid's going to turn 5 next month. It's a bit confusing because a birthday party is crazy. So 5 years before, we made the decision that Amelia is going to come out, and she's going to be fine, nothing to worry, we'll all be there, it'll all be fine. And then finally she was born. And when she was born, obviously it has to be complicated because nothing in life is easy, obviously. So yeah, it was a complicated birth, and eventually she came out a premature baby, but she was fine. She didn't need any transfusion. So as soon as she came out, they didn't put her into a needle, and they didn't do any of that stuff. They said that's fine. Let her carry on growing. And if I'm not wrong, she was transfused. Her first transfusion, I still remember, it was like going to school or for my first job interview, which I never got. It was very difficult because I could not see this needle go into my kid. But then that's how life is. This is the life I've chosen. It's good or bad, I'm going to be with her. I'm going to hold her hand. Whatever happens in her life, I'm going to be there. So that is the decision which I had to make at that time. And eventually the first transfusion happened. Bittersweet. And now she's almost 5. She goes regularly to transfusions. There's multiple visits to the hospital. I have almost 6 or 7 tests, which I don't want to bore you with, but there's a echocardiogram, a bone density test, a pediatric hematologist who will look at whether she's growing up or not properly, hearing test, that is, if daddy calls you, can you hear dad, yes or no, that test, MRI scan, which has not yet happened, but it'll eventually happen. So all of these tests started happening, and I thought, when is it going to end? Or where are we going to put a stop to this? Well, that is a hope which we live with, I guess, because as we are going to different conferences, we are trying to raise awareness. We are constantly in touch with the industry spearheads to figure out if there is a solution to it or anything else. But in the meantime, these are all the tests you have to go. So me and my wife find ourselves in the hospital twice a month, once to go and give the blood so that they can find the exact match, and the second time for the transfusion, which takes half a day. So it's a every month, twice we have to go to the hospital to check things out. And then we started her on a drug called XJade, which makes sure that your iron levels come down. As soon as XJade started in my family, I know every program on ABC Kids. If you tell me 7 o'clock ABC Kids, what plays, I will say immediately Curious George. I have no idea what I have to do for work that day, but I do know when Curious George plays, because I have to make sure that my kid needs to have this medicine on an empty tummy. So it's some sort of a distraction. I need to mix it with some sort of water or apple juice. Right now, apple juice are being bought by the bulk in my house because it's easier. And yeah, it's an experience in itself. So early in the morning, I wake up. Exercise may not be important because running around a kid, you should try that. It's really, really exciting because early in the morning, you're not awake and you're half asleep and you have to run behind your kid. So I need to start giving her XJade, and this will help her cut down the iron in her body, which is really important because more iron, more problems. So the less magnetic she is, the better. She can't get attracted to things that often. Then there was another milestone, which was they constantly kept putting needles into her body, which was a bit difficult because we couldn't find veins. The nurses were having a fight where I'm doing better than you and you're doing better than me. And I said, all of you just calm down. Can you find out a solution where there is no needles at all? And they said, put a Portacat, which was a small little needle cushion underneath her shoulder, or maybe her armpit. Sorry, I'm pointing to the wrong direction. Underneath the armpit where the needle will go and sit. So every time she goes to the hospital once a month, she gets a needle which is put here, so her hands are free to knock everything off the table. And then she can play with any kid she wants. But she finds that much more comforting than having needle inserted in her every month. Twice a month. So I think my kid's growing well. We are constantly being proactive. So some of the things which we did as a family, where we tried to buy a house closer to family. So within the vicinity of 5 to 10 kilometers, we have the hospital, we have the family. It is important to have family around, extremely important to have family around, because without family, you don't get the money, you don't get the food. So the money was a joke, by the way. So I don't want money from a family, too much baggage. So what I'm trying to get at is stay close to the family, have as much support as you can, because a thing like this will kind of bring you down from time to time, but the family is always going to help you push up a little bit. So we are trying to be proactive. We are trying to stay on top of our game. The questions which we keep asking the doctors is too much. Even students don't ask so many questions from the doctors as apprentices. We keep asking questions. We keep finding out how things are. And as you can see in the picture, that's from birth till now. So you can imagine every year she's grown into a kid who is in pink. Most of the time, unfortunately. But she loves the pink. She challenges us. She asks questions. I mean, one of her questions is, how are planets made? And I said, I have no idea. But I know how you're made, and I'll explain that. But she comes back to the planet question again. So she's constantly thinking. She knows how life is going to be. She is going to take things forward in life. And I'm sure the hospital is going to be there behind her. And she'll be curious, and she will hopefully swim again someday. Right now she hates the smell of chlorine, so she's not swimming for some reason. She does gymnastics, and she's really good at it apparently. And I think I have come to terms with it, saying thalassemia is a condition with which she's going to grow. And I think she's taken it into her stride as well. She's doing really well. She's, she's meeting all her milestones pretty good. And I feel it's going to be a challenge from now on, but, it's constantly going to be a challenge, and it's going to be a bit difficult, but I think we'll be okay with that. But all I'm trying to get at is a lot of people did not receive the attention we received when we were having the baby. A lot of people did not go for these tests, so they don't even know that their child had it, because of which the treatment was delayed, because of which people had other issues, because people could not survive, because they did not have the exposure to this. So we need the exposure. We need more and more people to talk about it, to have blood tests, and to know more and more about it. So I guess a part of me made me join the Thalassaemia Society, because I wanted, sorry, the time is going off. It's almost 10 minutes, so sorry about this. So all I'm trying to get at, or I want to finish off with this saying, go at the back and sign up if you feel like. Be a member of our community, like our Facebook page. Be a bit more involved if that helps. Or if none of this is a cup of tea, please go and give some blood, or just be a bit more aware of it, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at. There's a lot of documentation which we brought along with us, so please feel free to take them with you. Read up a little bit about it, because the more you talk about it, the more better it is, because in the end, it's all about getting the right exposure. So thank you.